You flooring it up, you floor beast?
Okay. Noted. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome aboard. So, GameStop did their earnings. They whooped the estimates by 425%. 4 cents were the consensus predicted earnings for GameStop. They posted 17 cents earning per share. Cash is through the roof. Cash is up 200 and something percent. Yeah. And, well, they hammered the stock down really, really bad. By quite a lot. It went down like full 10% today. So, what's that mean? Basically, the analysts and the stock bros and all those guys are saying it's because revenues are down. They're way down compared to last year, down 16%. So this company isn't viable. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, I mean, revenues are down because they closed stores. Stores are where GameStop makes revenue. So if you have fewer stores, you're going to have less revenue. Basically, GameStop is giving up entire regions of this country to big box stores, Target, Fred Meyer, Walmart, etc. So people need physical game paraphernalia and games and game systems, etc. They're going to go to those big box stores because the local GameStop no longer exists. Bed Bath & Beyond did this in 2022. They announced, "Hey, we're gonna streamline. We're gonna cut fat. We're gonna close 20% of our stores." And the market went, "Cool." And then when they actually cut the stores and they got the revenues back, the revenues were down 19.9%. So basically 20%. I understand there's like, hey, these stores are a loss. Cool. If they're a loss, cut them. I can't imagine that many stores are losses at this point. All you are doing is eliminating revenue streams. And the market's going to continue to hammer you so long as they see you as a game company. I think what GameStop needs to do, it needs to do soon, is that GameStop needs to become a subsidiary to a holding company that is named something completely different. And that way the holding company can say, hey, this is how much revenue we have from our holdings. And everyone goes, oh, you're making profit. Yay! Because when Apple, which is basically a hedge fund that makes cell phones, when Apple posts that their revenue is way down and their earnings per share is way up, the market rewards them, right? Because they're seen as a giant holding company, essentially, because they hold assets all over the place. So yeah, you need to be seen as a holdings company and not just as a video game company. Because if you're just a video game company, they're going to punish you for it because you're seen as like unserious. So yeah, the earnings were phenomenal. They were everything you ever want to be. They kicked ass. They dominated, except sales were down. If sales are down, well, the company's not viable. So if they've got $6 billion in cash, revenue's down 16%. I remember, must have been 2023. Okay, here's 2023. So, oh shoot. Where'd you go, Chrome? There you are. I gotta get this guy up here. So, 2023, Apple stock underperformed top tech peers 2023 due to longest revenue slide in 20 years. Apple stock did not go down. Like what they ended up doing was they did massive stock buybacks so that the earnings per share were the same. And everyone will just look at the earnings per share and like, oh, that's fine. Right? So it didn't matter. Because Apple was seen as a serious company, even though revenue was way down. Revenue was down like 50% for Apple in 2023. GameStop needs to give themselves a name So they're seen taken seriously, and then GameStop itself becomes a subsidiary under that larger company. That's what needs to happen. So, you know, Teddy, BBBY, something in there. Oh, well, hey, there's the intro. There, an accidental, perfect timing intro. All right, turn you off. Ready? 1, 2, 3, boom, off. All right, Floor Dog. Shall we hear it from the masses here? What's going on? What's going on in the? I feel like this camera is maybe needs to go there. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Jay Geyser was number 1. Jay Bear was number 2. Jay Dog was number 3. A lot of J's going on in the top 3 there. Lee Meadows, 2nd. Nope, you're 4th. Jay Geyser, a bot more no labs today, and it went up again. Yay! Jay Bear went shit. Chris Taylor, 1st in the 5th spot. Jay Geyser, nose. But also BBBY up no labs. BBBY, there was a filing today from the Plan Men against Curzon, basically saying, like, quit wasting your time, you fucking loser. I'm asking the court to punish you, essentially. It's a pretty curt, short and sweet response to Curzon's demands. I think the court is going to honor the Plan Man, and Curzon is going to pay a fortune for wasting everyone's time. No labs, same thing. You know, stock is probably going to slowly rise over the next couple months. If they make an announcement at some point, like they added more Bitcoin to their reserves, I assume that it'll go up even more. But you know, there are analysts now at big funds and big brokers saying it should be a $40 stock, which is insane at the moment. But yeah, that'd make it about $260 $200 million market cap, which is probably where they should be. So yeah, somewhere around there. Brimwell says up. If No Labs gets its patent approved, what stock price do you think it will reach? Well, it has patents. It has a couple hundred patents. What they need is the FDA approval as a medical device. And if they get that, they can start manufacturing their wearable glucose meters, and they corner a $30 billion a year market. And much of that is going to be subscription fees and profit. So the device might cost them $100 to manufacture. They sell it for $199, and then you pay a $99 a month subscription fee to use it. And every single solitary diabetic in America, which there are 30 million of them, you're doing $1,200 a year off every single one of those. So, yeah, it's a $100 billion stock if they get the FDA approval. The problems they're running into now is that there's nobody left in the FDA's device approval lab. So I don't know if they'll ever get approval. And if they do get approval, if other countries will take it seriously. Other countries used to look at the FDA approval process and go, oh, if FDA approved it, that's good enough for us. It's approved in our country. Since RFK Jr. is such a dumbass and he's fired everyone, we may no longer be the gold standard for things like FDA approval. So we may be stuck waiting for European regulators to do the approval process, or Japanese regulators, or Chinese regulators. I don't know if you saw it today, but RFK Jr. fired all the doctors from the Vaccine Guidelines Committee and put a whole bunch of people who aren't medical professionals in there. So we have destroyed the good name of our institutions in a hurry here. Well, that's what we got. Chris Taylor, hi. Down more than 4% after crushing par for the course. I'm tired. Yeah, it's stupid. Any other company that would post a 425% besting of the estimated earnings per share, their stock would go through the roof. Any other company that announces they made a $500 million purchase of Bitcoin, their stock will go through the roof. This thing is such a linchpin for the rest of the market that they cannot afford for it to go zoom. So they're going to do everything they can to hold it down. Make any excuse, make any headline they possibly can to excuse the fact that they're artificially keeping this guy down. That's it. Murphy Turf, How about a treat for Monkey Butt and some high-quality catnip for the fat guy? Well, the fat guy's outside. He does have a giant pile of catnip here from yesterday that he has not touched. So when he comes back, he can do that one. We can do one of these. Huh? She didn't even move. Are you that asleep, buddy? Oh, there you are. Yeah, okay. Now she's on it. You want it? Nom nom nom. Put it in your mouth. There, get it. There you go. All right. She's been zonked out in the sun all day. I think she's like plum tuckered. Oh, you're not gonna eat it? Are you too warm? Are you too warm to eat it? It's right there. It's right there for you. Right there. It's right there. Yeah, put it in your mouth. Chew on that sucker. Yeah, nom nom. Okay. Man, when will the price manipulation end? This is bullshit. So do we look forward to the shareholder meeting or BBYQ court case, which ends in July if it doesn't get adjourned? I guess. I mean, there was the talk about in order for the Knolls to be utilized, they had until like July 23rd or something. I have no idea about if that's valid or just a misreading of the documents. I couldn't really find stuff that, other than screenshots people took, that said those things. Maybe that's what we're aiming for. It's a lot more exasperated thumb twiddling at this point. Just rock yourselves to sleep and twiddle those thumbs until, you have arthritis and can't do it anymore, apparently. Murphy Studios. They're shorting it right below my cost basis, so I guess I'll buy more GME tomorrow. Well, there you go. That's buy and hold mentality. Goes up, buy. Goes down, buy. Stays the same, buy. I ended up picking up shares today. I didn't buy any options. I bought another 30 shares. So I think it's as big as a share day. And if it was going to go up, might as well add to my coffers. It went down. So, oh well. J-Dog. Mariners went full Mariners. Yeah. While Cal Raleigh is going apeshit and can be MVP, the rest of the Mariners squad is just like... Jorge Polanco, who looked like an MVP candidate for the first 2 months, is just falling off a cliff. He can't hit for shit anymore. One problem with the Mariners is that they let the front office make the batting order. So Dan Wilson isn't the manager, isn't the one who makes the batting order. And Scott Service ran into this problem too. I'll say it, matchup to matchup can work at times, but most players do better if they're in there 160 games a year. They just do. They're in there every day. They're seeing pitches every day. They're playing every day. Resting people as often as they do, and giving these young kids too much of a chance and end up hanging themselves has been a big problem with the Mariners. Like their batting order, their way they do their lineup is not how I would do it at all. I would look at the 1996-97 Mariners as the perfect way to build a lineup. You put the people in the same spot every single day. You get the entire league used to being like, oh shit, I've got a power hitter at 2, a power hitter at 3, a power hitter at 4, a power hitter at 5. All of them have on-base percentages saying they all mash a bunch of home runs. They're all having on-base plus slugging over 1,000. What do we do? And you put those players in the right spot so that they get protected by each other in the order, and they start mashing balls like crazy. They get walks like crazy. And the Mariners spread out their good players too far across their order, and then they got these like weak-ass infielders that can't hit for shit that they sprinkle in there, and they're just dead zones in the lineup. While putting players who are really good on the bench, only playing them half-time. I don't understand that. So, yeah. It's frustrating. I would write their lineup so differently every day. Then every once in a while they win a crush game, like, oh, why did they do it? And they put the lineup in there. I would be like, put in every day. So, well, the Europeans want me to stop talking about baseball. Belgian Whale. I'm selling cash secured puts tomorrow. Going to make money one way or another. I'm thinking $26 a couple weeks out to optimize the profit. Okay. Yeah, I don't think 26 is going to be the floor. I think 27.50, 28 is probably going to be the floor, so I think you can get away with it and make some cash. So that's not such a bad idea. Batman is buying the dip. Chris Taylor, finger fun lasted about a minute. I'm tired, boss. I'm sure finger will go up a little bit coming into the 20th. I don't know. Let's see. FNGR options chain. Well, the options chain for June. I don't think it's as stacked as it was in May, even though it's the yearlies or the quarterlies. Come on, load. There we go. Okay. Let's see here. I mean, it's got a bunch up at 4s, but it's not loaded like it was in May for the stuff that's in the money. That's Finger's problem right here. Is that these should be at like 10,000 and they're not. So the impetus is to keep this thing down because you don't want any of these 5s and belows to trigger, putting a couple million shares in the money. So yeah, I don't see a big rise happening. If it touches 3, maybe the market goes, oh, I gotta go buy 400,000 of these things. You start getting volume going up again. But yeah, I don't see it happening this month. That 229 is too far away from $3. So you're gonna need some whale in there to really make a movement happen. And the T35s won't kick in from May. So if those delivers won't kick in time, so you'd be looking at maybe a July bump from that before it starts you doing like regular cycles. So yeah, I don't think fingers happening this month. Chris Taylor, I'm losing faith. Any words of encouragement to share? Anyone losing faith in GameStop? They need to make a splash, man. The Bitcoin was enough of a splash. They bought maybe $1 billion of Bitcoin. That might have been a splash. Putting a B in front of those things, like $1 billion, but go, oh, billion, that's a lot. 500 million people, it just kind of goes from one ear out the other for most people, for mid caps and above. And I don't know if you want to buy right now with at 112. I don't know how sustainable this price currently is, but you have a lot of companies buying in, so maybe that's where this floor is going to be for now. Words of encouragement. I mean, all we can do is twiddle our thumbs. You and I don't have the power. No one in the chat has the power. None of us are whales, unless Roaring Kitty happens to pop by here every once in a while, lurking. And no one's caught him lurker fishing yet, so I doubt it. If we don't have a whale who can be a catalyst on this, then we're waiting for GameStop to finally do something truly big, and we might be waiting forever for that. Companies need growth, and if you don't show revenue growth, then even if you have profit going up and earnings per shares are better, etc., the larger market will use it as an excuse to not pay attention to you. So here we sit, twiddling. Twiddle. It's not the most encouraging thing, but twiddling is free. This doesn't cost me a dime, and I can do this all day long. So, blia, right, blia, man. Murphy Studios rewatched Alita Battle Angel over the weekend. Did you ever see this bug nuts movie? Dumb but super fun to me. So hoping they make a sequel. Any movie worlds you want more of and never got? I have never heard of Alita Battle Angel. So, no, I have not seen that. Movies I want sequels to or more worlds of. Buckaroo Banzai. I want an expansion of the Buckaroo Banzai universe. Atomic Blonde. If you guys ever saw Atomic Blonde, Charlize Theron. Seriously, top 5 action film for me. Charlize Theron's been in 2 of the top action films I've ever seen. Atomic Blonde and Fury Road. So in my opinion, she's probably the greatest action star of all time if she has 40% of the 5 greatest action films ever made. But yeah, I'd like to see an Atomic Blonde sequel. That'd be awesome. Did not get the love it should have, and she did all of her own stunts in that movie, and they were phenomenal. Who else, Monkey Butt? Who else would we like to see an expansion? Explore the worlds. Gotta think of movies that didn't quite get the attention they needed, or like there are movies that were really good that got the expansion, then you're like, oh, that was terrible. Super Troopers, a brilliant movie. Super Troopers 2, dog shit. absolute garbage. So yeah. Oh, Jay Guys says Firefly and Serenity. Yep, I'd be up on that. I really enjoyed, and we've had tons of movies like Terminator movies and stuff. But the Terminator universe, the Sarah Connor Chronicles were really good. I wish that hadn't been canceled and went further. I'd like to see more kind of hardcore sci-fi like The Expanse. So you can expand into the Expanse universe, I guess. Who else, Monkey Butt? I don't know. My brain's kind of drawn blanks at the moment. Maybe I'll come up some more. I'll probably read some more chats from you guys as further going. More Fast and Furious, not enough of them. Out of the 10, 11 Fast and Furious movies, number 5 is the only good one. The rest of them are terrible. 5, I was like, wow, that was actually a good movie. I've watched them all, and each time I'm like, eh. Like, my biggest beef is the first one, the first Fast and Furious movie. They never resolve the nemesis in that movie. Like, the bad guy, the Asian dude who was like the bad dude, like, they never resolved that storyline, just never finished. And you're like, well, huh. You ever watch the TV show Bosch? I hate cops, but I love cop shows. I don't know why. I do. But the last season of Bosch, there's this whole storyline going on where this city council member in Los Angeles is like seducing dudes and like drugging them, and they keep overdosing and dying. And and like the show ends, and it's like show's over, no more episodes, and you're like, but what about the dude you guys were investigating? What? I guess we're just never gonna get the answer to that. Please, like, put a bow tie on that thing, end it. Yeah. Major gains, it don't matter. Stock goes where BlackRock wants. Well, BlackRock wants everything to go up because BlackRock is an index fund, and they buy 7% of everything in existence, and they want everything to marginally go up so that BlackRock goes up over time, and then they just reinvest whatever dividends they get into buying, make sure they maintain their 7% of everything. Same thing with Vanguard and State Street. They do the same. They're big giant index funds. And I think index funds are okay to a point, but when they get so large, they have to be destroyed. Or you have to limit them into not being allowed to invest in competing companies. So like, they shouldn't be allowed to invest in their competitors, but BlackRock's got a 7% stake in Vanguard. Vanguard has a 7% stake in BlackRock, etc. Right? They shouldn't be allowed to do that. They're competitors. You shouldn't be allowed to own your competitors. And you also shouldn't be allowed to be an index fund and invest in Ford, invest in Stellantis, invest in GM, invest in Tesla, you have to pick one. Whatever car company you think is the best car company, that's the one you have to invest in. Especially if you own more than 1% of any of them. You should be limited to just pick one at that point. Investor Bill of Rights. We'll throw that in there. Oh shoot! That just reset the chat. Where'd you go? Oh, there we go. Copy and paste is Eeyore going on here. That's understandable. Belgian Well, Add some no labs today at the dip to compensate for my future GME options loss. Well, there you go. Leo B, sorry. Degened into end of the week calls knowing earnings per share was coming. Am I cooked? I don't know, honestly. GameStop is quite a bit down at the moment. We're at 28.33. So we're down a buck 80, buck 82 after hours, which just seems so stupid to me. Like, they've got more cash on hand than ever. It's going up by like $60-70 million a quarter at this point. And they're still just hammering it. Negative beta's hitting hard, though. It's at negative 0.65. So, volume was really low. That's kind of interesting. See? Where to Wander says an Expanse game just got announced. Osiris Reborn. Oh, really? I would invest in that. I'd play that. I like to see the expansion of things like that. The expansion of the Expanse. Expand the expanses. Peach Sunday. Of course, GME got hammered. So tired of trading in this market. Yeah, it's just lame. Everything's so lame. Adam M. GameStop fucking sucks. It's always next month, right? I'm out. It's understandable. Jimmy D. Houston. I said Keon was a bit by a bird. Wait. I said Keon was bit by a bird and died. Very unfortunate, but he claims I was on LSD and also his financial advisor. So things maybe worked out for the best. Wait, are these quotes from Fear and Loathing that you're throwing at me? I need to talk to my attorney. Kelly Reed, happy birthday, HW. So GME beat all expectations. The media does the classic sell. Quarter one 2024 net loss of $32 million. Quarter of 2025 net profit of $44.8 million. Cash securities $6.4 billion. Yeah, it's way up. Kelly Reed, Houston. You should have Josh from the Gist back on to discuss GME. Yeah, I can talk to Josh. Says before Finger, aka Finger Motion, is what they're gonna do to your asshole for buying in. GME's King Supreme. No other stock is as shorted nor causes fear as GME does. Good things take time, and I can wait. I can't wait so much. Jimmy D. Keon would say, I do have a propensity towards older women, relationship sexually. I have no idea what's going on, Jimmy D. I'm confused. Jay Geyser. Could Gavin Newsom stop paying California National Guards so they go home? That's an interesting one. I heard that a colonel at 29 Palms refused orders to go to Los Angeles. He said, no, you need Congress to authorize this. So he wouldn't send his Marines there, which is good. Trump still wants to send somebody. He'll probably try to find someone dumb enough to send troops there. Video footage out of Los Angeles, like there's stuff in the news you see, like, oh, there's a car on fire or whatever, but there's like concerts and people just marching and banging their drums and handing out snacks and, you know, people selling churros on the side of the road. Like, it's, if there's no police presence, there's no violence, which tells me the police presence is where the violence comes from. It's pretty simple. I mean, there's video footage of the cops destroying their own car that came out from last night. So, you know, all video accounts show that the original violence that happened was instigated by ICE against the protesters. And I think here, well, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna have Houston's art time. Art, bam, over here, art, shaboom. Get larger, art, shaboink. Get over there, shaboop. Okay, dude. Chrome off and paint on. There we go. All right. So we're gonna make ourselves a little. You know what? I'm gonna do a squares. We'll make ourselves some cities here, right? City blocks. That's what we got going on here. City blocks. Shitty walk. City blocks. Let's So the spaces between these are roads, right? You have, let's say, I'll put them in green. We'll have, brush. Okay, so you have a whole bunch of protesters. The green will be protesters, right? They're marching. They're heading that direction. They're going to somewhere. They're going to protest. They're like, I'm on a march. I'm going to say, hell no, you can't go, whatever, right? They're on a march. What the cops do is the cops go, all right, you are going to march to here, and then you're going to stop. And it is like all cops lined up here. They're like, you won't go anywhere. So the crowds come in. The crowd's like, fuck you, dude. We're marching here. And the cops are like, you shall not pass. And then conflict happens. And then anything back here, once conflict starts, they start knocking over trash cans because mob mentality takes over and they're lighting cars on fire and doing all that stuff, right? Why not, when there's a march and you're worried about such things and all the protesters, I can't think of brushes. Why do you keep getting small? All the protesters are doing a little march. They're going this way, right? Why not have the cops along the buildings, right? You just have them along either side of the buildings. There's not to be too many of them, 10 per block, whatever. Just making sure windows don't get smashed, and that's all you have. And you let the protesters go do their thing. That way you don't have a conflict forming. Where protesters are like, hey, I need to go here. And the cops are like, no. And the protesters are like, fuck you. And the cops are like, fuck you. And then everyone just starts bashing each other's heads in. It's unnecessary. You don't need that. And it's this design, it seems to be fully meant to cause damage and destroy stuff. I think that's why the cops are told to do it, and it's just kind of dumb. Also, let the protesters do whatever they want to the ICE people. That's also something that should happen. Just let them tear their limbs off. I don't care. They're all a bunch of Proud Boys and Patriot Front and Oath Keepers and garbage like that. Just let them just tear their limbs off. I'm okay with that. I have no problem. Quote me on it. I don't know. If I were Gavin Newsom, I would order the police away, or order state troopers to come in and shoo cops out or something. If I were a National Guard officer, I would tell my National Guard troops to turn their back on the protesters and walk towards the ICE people. Probably why I'm not a National Guard officer. I don't know. Okay. Lee Meadows. After this earnings, I don't think they can keep it down. Thinking it will come back up tomorrow. What's your thoughts, Houston? Yeah, I think it will be on a trickle back up. It's really amazing to me how it appears as though financial writers all have the exact same interpretation of earnings within 2 minutes of earnings being reported. These articles are out. All of them saying, well, it's because revenues are down. It's as though they were looking for a reason to justify their shorting of this company. And they're like, the only thing, we know they're going to, we've done the math, we know they're going to beat earnings estimates, because for some reason earning estimates people can't estimate for shit. I've nailed 2 earnings in a row on how much profit they're going to have, and it's not that hard to do the math and be like, okay, this is much cash, it's this at this rate in their bond holdings, this is how much money they're going to make versus how many shares they have, boom, profit. So they've got people in their camps doing it. What they do is like, well, we know revenue is going to be down. That's the only negative we can pick apart on this entire thing. So we're going to short the shit out of it the minute the market closes. And then you guys are going to post a bunch of articles talking about how revenue is down 16%, despite the fact that profit's up 400%. And profit is all that matters. That's the entire point for owning a stock, is the profit. And if profit is better than expected, the stock price should be better than expected. It's manipulation there, Lee. Avocados, trying again. Made it back from Scotland. Nice. Pretty awesome trip. Picked up rocks for you. Old man of store, fairy pools, Three Sisters, Carnagorms. We'll post them soon. Well, I would love to see. By all means. I love rocks. Cheers, Mammy. Good to see everyone in a cheerful mood. Corporate Walnut, we can tell us by coming tonight. Rock hard. Coming tonight is one of the hardest rocks out there, and if you play with it enough, you can find yourself really relaxed and have a good night's sleep. So I recommend it. Chris Taylor, just Mammy, it could be a tough crowd tonight. To anyone in Spike Arthur's hammer, the sons of Warvin, you shall be avenged. Galaxy Quest. I know that one. Okay. Captain Rhino, given how the current administration doesn't seem to follow the rules very well, do you think they will force market makers and hedge funds to actually pay up in the event of a squeeze this term? That's a hard one to gauge because, as I've talked about before, you can only make people do what you want them to do if you have the financial resources to reward them or punish them for behaving or misbehaving. If all of a sudden you don't have the financial resources to dictate how things are supposed to go, the power structure automatically gravitate to whoever's next in line or whoever comes out on top. So if folks like Ken Griffin are like, hey, Trump administration, you don't want us to have to pay anything if this shit goes sideways, right? If they don't have the money to fund the campaigns anymore at that point, then they won't listen to them. They'll go to the next one down the line. And she's dreaming pretty hard here on the floor. She's twitching and kicking and doing all sorts of things. She's imagining she's got another leg and she's chasing a bunny right now. You're just going to get Debbie Downer's route today. Yep. Sometimes Somalia win Catalyst. Fuck if I know. See what happens at the yearly meeting. They never made a cool announcement at the annual meeting, so I'm not expecting any cool announcements to happen at the annual meeting. I expect it to be, they'll take 3 questions. The questions will get half-assed asked and half-assed answered. Then they'll wrap it up, and that'll be it, and we'll be disappointed. That's so far annual meetings for GameStop. Nothing cool happens in them. Lee Meadows says the shills are definitely out today. Mm-hmm. I tell you, one wants to know when the Lambo is. Beats me, man. Barcode and says Ronald Rose. Where to wander? Lol. The chat seems a bit despondent today. When 1983 Ford Escort. Nostalgia T. Houston, have you considered moving to Canada? I have. I've applied to a couple of Canadian community colleges. I've not heard back from any of them yet. I should probably look again and see if anyone else is looking over the summer here. If you are a Canadian operator and you got a job for me, let's do it. I'll take that visa and go try it out. Well, barcode until we don't. Yeah. Tiny Oneness, guess my salvaged 2012 Mazda 3 hatchback isn't so bad after all. Think about getting mud tires turned into a battle car. Why not? Do a Gambler 500, man. Oh. And then the Moth, was it finally put out what price they bought Bitcoin at? I did not see. I saw that they bought it sometime, was between May 3rd and their announcement. So they bought later than we thought. But I don't know what price. They didn't specify at all. King Ding Dong, I got an interview tomorrow at GameStop. I'll start MOAS myself. Do it. Mr. E Machine, did they buy the BTC in Q2 or Q1? I think they technically bought it in Q2. If they bought it between May 3rd and when they made their announcement, because Q1 ended. It ended April and it end of April. Not quite sure. Don't know. Rupert Trooper, Houston, check the options chain for next week expiry. You'll see why they had to hammer the price down as much as possible. There's also a shareholders meeting in 2 days, so I assume they'll hammer again. Very possible. The options chain, it's because the monthlies are coming up, and those are monsters. Well, not the monthlies, the leaps, the June leaps. So these guys. So June 20th? June 20th, yes. Okay. So the numbers are huge at 30, and they just pushed it down below that. So they're on 28 and change right now, so they knocked out a whole bunch. If there's a rise to 35, things go off the rails, 40, etc. So yeah, the Junes are big. What we need for the Junes is we need someone with the financial resources of a Roaring Kitty to jump in at 25, at 26.5, somewhere in here, somewhere deep in the money, putting up numbers. Talking 50, 60, 70, 80, 100,000 call options, just YOLO'd into that. And that would cause massive waves in gamma ramping leading up to things. So you can make whatever announcement you wanted, and the market makers would be like, I still have to buy more shares because there's so many in the money. There's no way we can hammer it down below this $25 price because, we're at $14, $15 per share. And with the fact that it's 100% shorted means that's basically $28 a share in liability for everyone, share-wise, if they were all of a sudden to throw the cash out to all the shareholders. So yeah, the price can't really go below that. So, come on, a whale. I'm not a whale. I don't have $100 million I can throw at tens of thousands of stock options, but there are people who do. And if they truly believe in retail, do it. Lamoth SPY is $10-ish away from all-time high. Shake my head, still blows my mind. Yeah. Profits are down. Sales are down. Consumer sentiment is negative. Commercial real estate, residential real estate are plummeting. The dollar is devaluing like crazy. Bond yields are crazy high. Unemployment is rising. Democracy is falling apart. Farmers can't pick their food or sell it to anybody. There is not a single good index in the whole of the American economy right now. But the SPY is about to touch all-time highs. So dumb. Everything is so fucking stupid. Just so... Monkey, it's so dumb. So dumb, Monkey. Well, here we are. Being dumb. Bunch of dumb dummies. That's what we are. Okay. Phil Clayton, 14 cents earnings per share. Believe it or not, dip. Either way, I'm buying more. 17 cents earning per share. It's more than that. But yeah, turnover is vanity, profit, sanity. Yep. Different line, not a moth. They gave a date range, and it's after April, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. If they bought in April and was at 70 cents, then people would be like, ooh. But it looks like they bought when it was still pretty high. Just Mammy says, tanks in place for Saturday North Korean crap. Yeah. It's weird to like when I graduated high school, and I've talked about this before, it was, I think, quite possibly the peak of human civilization. We had an internet, but it wasn't yet a malicious internet. Fuel prices were like 87 cents a gallon. The economy was booming like nothing we'd ever seen before for a very long stretch of time. Looked like democracy was this wave that was passing around the world, and the former Soviet bloc was like getting through their issues, and they were going to join the rest of society. It was just a lot of optimism. Home runs were being mashed like crazy in baseball because everyone was doing steroids. It just was like a sunny time. Just the sunshine was out, man. And then we had a really weird Supreme Court decision. And George W. Bush became president, and then we went into 8 years of war and recession, and things got dark, and they got dark quick, and then we deregulate more and more, and things get more expensive, and it just seems to be like spiraling out of control. Like, I know the Large Hadron Collider is jokingly referred to as what triggered all this, but seriously, what happened? What happened in the year 2000? What Y2K bug did we like pass through to get into this alternate universe where everything's just shitty? I don't know, man. It's weird. It's weird. The optimism is gone. And that sucks. A lot. Big Z Zerp, Houston. Can Theta play a big enough role in an Iron Condor option play where I can buy back the contracts for more contract price but less cash and still make money? Depends on which sides of your Iron Condor. If the Iron Condor, remember correctly, is you sell deep and buy near term, or is that the way around? But you're doing puts and calls on both sides. So the goal of Iron Condor is a slow and steady. It's like you want to be up like 5% every single time you do a trade, rather than like YOLOing and going for something for like 100% gains all the time. Yeah. Jiggy Shukla, almost same age. Those were the days, man. We saw the peak. Seriously, like we went over the mountaintop, and now we're just over the hill. Everything's shit rolls downhill. We're on that side of it. Just with that Indiana Jones boulder chasing behind us. Yeah. Ugh. Ugh. It's pretty interesting too, like, I think a large portion of, I don't know how to phrase this. Like, there are athletes today who are as good or better than athletes anytime in history. But the marketing behind athletes is terrible because there's like no organic love affair with them. Like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, you know, he's legend, GOAT, etc. 6-time champion. He was the most recognizable person on Earth. On Earth. At his peak. There is nobody in sports who can quite have that universal appeal. I mean, there's a couple of big soccer players. You got like Ronaldo and Messi and stuff. But even then, like, I still don't think that they're on the same level as Michael Jordan was. In baseball, I don't think there's anyone in baseball who's got the it factor like Ken Griffey Jr. did back in his prime. There are ball players that the teams want to market around. Maybe Shohei Ohtani, but he still has like scandal behind him with that whole gambling thing with his body man. So Shohei might be the closest thing to Griffey level, like it factor. But there's just something about like the way marketing is done and targeted advertising on the internet and everything that's like targeted for specific demographics that things start to lose universal appeal. And without universal appeal, you don't have catalysts for society to sort of have in common or rally around. And I think that is part of the enshittification of everything, is that, like, you know, my coworkers put a song on and I'm like, I never heard this in my entire life. Like, what? This is like the biggest song ever 3 years ago. I'm like, we're in two different target demographics. They do not play that anywhere that I am. So I've never heard this in my life. And same thing with TV shows and movies. You log into your Netflix, right? And it recommends all the stuff it thinks you like. So you never get exposed to anything new. Like, there's no like, you know what? Let's see if this show will happen. Whereas if you had 5 channels, right, and you had to watch what was on, you would settle for what was watchable, right? And that sort of triggered don't know, it's like gutter ball theory. Where would I go with the sleepy dog? Like, if it's Thursday night and you're up against Seinfeld and the Cosby Show, what you're going to put out is going to have to be so phenomenal that America will actually bother tuning in, right? And your best hope is that Seinfeld and the Cosby Show are on a rerun, and then people might go wander over to ABC or to Fox or whatever to see whatever it is you're throwing up there. We don't have that kind of competition anymore. It's all the biggest television records for TV shows happened in the 1950s when there was like 3 shows, and everybody watched Howdy Doody, everybody watched the Flintstones, everybody because there's nothing else they could do. So the commonality, the things people have in common that sort of bring the glue to like the socialness in society is just gone because we like balkanized everyone's attention. It's me, BK. Well, I'm saying Cosby Show because Cosby Show was the gold standard for sitcoms in the 80s, right? Early 90s. We didn't know that he was a rapey douchebag back then. We thought he was America's dad. So that's why I use the example. But like, we don't have the commonality. We don't have families sitting down together doing the same things anymore. We don't, because everyone's like, well, I guess the kids get to pick the show tonight, and then the parents end up watching TGI Friday or something. Back in my day, everyone just has their own screen and their own experience, and they might find the other folks who have that same experience, but if they haven't had that experience yet, they don't. That common thread isn't there. I don't know where else I'm going with this. It's just like it's a loose thought in my head. But yeah, there was a golden age. Jimmy died with nub. Shorts keep adding leverage, so we are stuck until we drain their cash. Was RC would do it already. Seriously. Big Z Zerp, what's going to be the real price tag on this dictator parade? Well, I mean, the cost of security, the cost of all the equipment being transferred, all that stuff is like $30 million. But they're also going to have to repave all the roads that the tanks were on because the tanks are going to destroy the roads. and that construction on Pennsylvania Avenue is probably going to be $10 million a mile, if not more. Because you got construction crews in sensitive areas with large equipment next to the president. Like, yeah, my guess will probably cost more than that. So how long is the parade route? June 14th parade route. Trump military parade route. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we got here. Show me a map. That's not a map at all. Oh, here we go. The parade route is this line. Is that what we're doing? So they're gonna have an exhibit of the equipment out in the National Mall. Word. So you still have to get them through these roads. So this is basically, they will travel. What's that distance there? Well, let's pull up ye old Google Earth and it will tell us. There's my Google Earth. Okay, let's leave Brazil. Let's go up to DC. Let's get you squared away here. Come on, get squared away. Let's go on the Potomac. Let's get over here. Let's get the National Mall. Okay, so the ovals, those are the ovals, so it's that whole half. Okay. There you go, Google Earth. So basically, let's pull up our thing. Let's do this in miles. Done. So the parade route can be thought of as basically, wait, why are you, come on, miles, all right. There, all the way to about there. So 2 miles. So we're going on the ellipse. It's going to be Constitution Avenue, so it's not Pennsylvania Avenue. Okay. It's Constitution Avenue for about 2 miles, 1.96 miles. Yeah, this is a very important road. This is probably going to cost $10 million a mile, if not more. How many lanes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus parking. So we got basically 7 to 8 lanes for those 2 miles. Yeah, I think $20 million is probably an understatement for this, because this is going to get destroyed. Like, just the road's going to be just crunched into cookie crumbs. Is not designed to handle tanks. So, yeah, I bet the price tag probably goes to 50, 60. Let's say between 60 and 100 million be my guess for what that's going to cost in the end. So dumb. And they're spending $145 million. $145 million to put the National Guard soldiers in Los Angeles, and they don't have hotel rooms. They're sleeping on the floors of the federal buildings. Wouldn't that go a long ways for like disaster relief, for like wildfires? I mean, if I were like Sarah Huckabee Sanders, whose state has been just absolutely blown apart with storms recently, and she begged Trump, she's like, hey, Trump, can you please declare a national emergency in my state so I can get FEMA funding to protect and help everyone in these storms? He's like, no. Same thing with Tennessee, same thing with Kentucky, same thing with Missouri, right? These are blue states, and these blue states are being rejected for help. So the National Guard troops aren't there to help rebuild. They're not there to help find people. They're not being sent in because Trump won't do it. But he'll send them into California to keep a car from burning, right? Fuck it, let the car burn. Who gives a shit? That's $30,000 and go get another one, right? It's been $145 million to protect one car. That's not a very cost-effective plan. My high school, when I graduated, I was in college, and I was reading the local paper and reading about how some kids had spray painted like a brick wall, and it cost like $1,000 to clean it up. And so the superintendent invested like $120,000 in cameras so they could, figure out, everyone do this. And I wrote the superintendent, I was like, dude, like, you just spent $120,000 when this thing got spray painted. It's the first time ever anyone's ever spray painted like that on the school. It costs you $1,000 to clean it up. Just clean it up once every 50 years when it happens. It'll cost you $1,000. Now you're spending $120,000. The kids will still spray it. You'll still have to clean it up. Only this time, you're going to have grainy footage and have to identify who it was. So, like, you got to figure out where your cost benefit is. There's like, years ago, Walmart stopped prosecuting people who stole under $25 from their stores. Which meant, it's free reign. You can go and steal whatever you want, so as long as it's under $25. But because it would cost them more to prosecute those crimes than it did to just be like, just write it off and take insurance for it. You gotta do the math on these things. It's not very cost effective at this point. Mr. E-Machine, Dan Wilson, the Mayor's Cash in the 90s. Yeah, he's the manager now. He's done a pretty decent job so far. Although the last month was, there were like 10 games above 500, and now it's even Steven, or close to it. Yeah. Seagill sold my $22 20th of June GME call for 130% profit. Bought a couple of puts right before close. There you go. Yeah. Short Fridays. This guy's a false prophet. Short Fridays. Weren't you in here the other day? And I offered you, I made you an offer, didn't I? And you didn't take the offer, which is interesting. But you're still here. It's amazing that you still come here. I must truly fascinate you. I hope you don't run out of baby oil. Okay. Oh, it's 4:30. I gotta get going. I don't know if I'll get to a show tomorrow. If I do, it might be an after dark show. Yeah, Monkey and I are gonna take a big old walk in the city. It's gonna be a beautiful day. We're gonna eat some pasta. And yeah, right, that's what we're gonna do. So, well, we'll see you guys most likely Thursday, unless I get an After Dark show on tomorrow. So take day off, enjoy yourselves. We'll see what the shareholders meeting has for us on Thursday, and you folks have a great day. Right? Okay. Wait. Where's my button? There it is. Boop.